Fight fans, fight fans. Boy, what a fight. Canelo Bivol. Just like I predicted in my last video, I told you what could happen and it did happen. That's how much I know my shit. That shift that I was talking about in the last video happened. Canelo couldn't hurt him. Throwing the punches to the arms and shit. Canelo's strategy happened. Didn't have no effect on him. When you keep going up in weight to avoid the fighters that the fans want to see, this is what happens. He tried to make history. Canelo wants to be the greatest Mexican champion ever, to do something no Mexican champion has ever done. The Mexican champion. The difference between him and Mayweather wanted to be the best fighter, period. That's the difference. That's the greatest Mexican champion, and the difference between the TBE stigma. Mayweather had his little thing too. You know, what Mayweather would try to do is age you out. He'll try to age you out. He'll try to, you know what I'm saying, let you go through your wars, and then he come in and pick up the pieces and pick you apart because you've already been through some wars. Mayweather had his little thing. He had a plan. He did it his way. Canelo tried to do it his way. But you keep going up in weight, taking these risks, fighting these champions. These guys are going to get geared up for that. And luckily it wasn't the same way that Amir Khan jumped up to fight him and got slept. Kell Brook jumped up to fight Triple G and got his eye socket broke. So jumping these weight classes, man, you got to be careful. These guys are skilled too, and they hitting a little bit different. Hitting a little bit different. But it's just like I predicted could happen, and it did happen. Now, hopefully he humbles himself and go back down to the Charlos and the Andrades like we all wanted. But, believe me, everybody that fight Canelo's next is going to be looking at that Bivol blueprint. Just like everybody was looking at Floyd's blueprint to beat Canelo. But in my opinion, Canelo learned from the Floyd fight. As far as his defense is concerned, he got a little bit more slicker on defense. He added that. He took that aspect of the game from Floyd and added to his repertoire. So that's a plus. That means you went to school and you learned. You know. But on the other hand, with Bivol, just total domination, man. Kept him at the end of the punches. Hand speed was there. Everything was there. Younger, fresher fighter. Y'all got to remember now, Canelo been through some wars, man. He been in there with some bangers, especially going up in weight. And he was trying to stay away from the more slick style fighters. He wanted somebody robotic that stands in front of him so he could just tee off. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, it was a good fight. But I told y'all this could happen, and it did. Please pay attention to my videos. I don't just be saying this to be saying this. I be telling the truth. I know this game in and out, like I said before on my other channels. I'm not just a nigga with a mic. I've actually did this shit. You even had the professional fighters saying Canelo gonna win. No. And y'all fighting too. How y'all automatically think Canelo just go win? And I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Bivol would be a damn fool to fight Canelo again in a rematch, especially a bigger damn fool to go down to 168. I'm going to give you an example real quick. Roy Jones never would have had his legacy tainted. After he beat John Ruiz, he should have retired then. His legacy would have been intact. But you want to go back down, weight drain yourself to fight Tarver again, whom you already beaten, and got clipped and been getting knocked out ever since. You got to know when enough is enough. Once you reach the heavyweight status, it ain't no other weight class after that. What you going back down for? You beat that man. Should have left with the heavyweight crown tilted to the side and been like, I'm done. Undefeated. Well, he wouldn't have been undefeated because he got that disqualification against Montel Griffiths, but he avenged that with a first round knockout. So in the eyes of us, he still would have been undefeated. But I'm just saying, you got to think about these things, man. I'm like the oracle with this shit. Well, it happened. It happened. Hopefully we get to see the fights now that we want to see. Everybody going to want to fight Canelo now because they got somewhat of a blueprint. Canelo's still dangerous. Don't get me wrong. He ain't no pushover. He's still dangerous. But when the attributes is all in the favor of one guy, sometimes the ring IQ don't really mean nothing. That shit gets thrown out the window when the physical attributes are there. You can have the best ring IQ in the world, but if you still getting touched frequently, more faster and harder, it's gonna play and then the bullshit and wrestling move, carrying them on your shoulder, dummy, that's just wearing you out. That's not proving nothing to no one, and that's not gonna win you the round. It's just draining you, and you paid for that shit down the stretch because you got fatigue. It is what it is, folks. It's the beautiful game of boxing. Peace.